I encourage everyone to take a moment and breathe and take a tea cheers with a Jiri tea. A Jiri tea recognizes the beauty in shared stories and shared opportunities. Ajiri sources award-winning tea from Kenya, employs women in the region to handcraft the labels, and sends 100% of the profits back to the region to support orphan education. Save 10% on your order of Kenyan teas and coffee with the code BeautifullyHuman at ajiritea.com. AJIRIT.com. Tea mugs up. Hello and welcome to the Beautifully Human podcast. I'm Nick Sheesby. In this podcast, I speak with beautiful humans from all around the world, sharing with you their incredible stories, revealing the power in every human story, to spread love and humanity to a world that is in desperate need of it, to show that we can all connect in beautiful ways, no matter where we come from or what we look like. What you will find out is that we are all beautifully human. Let's all be beautifully human. Hello again, and welcome back to the Beautifully Human podcast. Thanks for joining us from wherever in the world that you are. It is fantastic to have you here. Today I'm hanging out with Britteany, Duffus. Man, we have a really good conversation. We talk a lot about teaching in this episode and just how ridiculous it is that teachers don't necessarily make a living wage here, and they're teaching the future generations of children. And we talk about her teaching in China, and yeah, it's just a really cool conversation. I made a new friend. It's fantastic. If you enjoy the podcast, follow along on Spotify, follow on Instagram at the Beautifully Human Podcast, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. And as always, enjoy this conversation. All right. So I love to start these off with a very broad, overarching question and say, tell me the story of your life, Britteany.
Ooh, the story of my life. Okay. So it began when I was a baby, just like everybody else's story.
Yeah.
I was born in Jamaica. Then I came to America when I was 3. It was my dad's idea. He was like, I want her to have a better life type of thing. So came to America, grew up in Florida most of my life. Then after Florida, moved to Texas. My dad's job got transferred out there. So that's where I went to college. Then right after college, I left the country to teach English in China. So I did that for 2 years, which was awesome. Traveled the world. So got my passport stamped up. Then, I thought about it and I'm like, I want to be a teacher. Like, this experience really showed me that I want to be a teacher. So I'm like, all right, let me go back, actually get a certification in teaching, because my college degree had nothing to do with teaching whatsoever.
Sure,
yeah. Back to school I went. So it was actually a good experience because I earned credits for a graduate degree. So right now I'm like 5 classes away from actually having it complete. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're pretty much all caught up now. I finished the teaching program, so now I'm just chilling, waiting to have my own classroom.
That's so awesome. All right. So many questions involved in this. I'm just going to go into them. Where did you go? Where are you getting, is that what took you to Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
Your certificate, or was it a teaching job and then you found a school up there?
It was actually the program that was offered up here. So my mom told me about it. She is from Michigan. So this is my stepmom.
Gotcha.
Originally from Michigan. So she knew about the program at Grand Valley State University.
All right.
So she was like, yeah, they have a teaching certification program. You do it in like 2 years and you'll be set. And I'm like, oh, that's great, because I do not want to be back in school forever.
Yeah.
That's how I found it.
That's so cool. All right. Biggest question. Teaching English in China. Where were you? Talk to me about that. That had to be incredible.
It was. So I was in, I believe it's the 2nd largest city. I might be wrong, but Nanjing, China.
Okay.
So comparable to like New York City as far as size goes. It's probably the third now I think about it, because Shanghai is probably the second. But either way, I was located there and I had the choice. You get to choose what city you want to be in. I had no previous knowledge about Chinese cities beforehand, but we did our training in Beijing, and I knew that Beijing was not the place for me. So I was really happy with my choice of Nanjing. I'd compare it to like city meets nature. So there's like this park right in the middle of it with a mountain, and then it's surrounded by sprawling city. So much to do. It's very walkable. Like I drove everywhere in taxis, or you get like a little motorbike if you wanted to. And every day was just fun. Like I honestly can't say I had a horrible or regretful experience over there, because I mean, you're teaching English, your work-life balance is great. You know, you get off of work and it's still pretty early. Like you can go out to dinner afterwards. You don't have to be in till the afternoon. But things have changed since I was there. So I know they do things a little differently now, but that's what it was like when I was there. And it was just great. And travel on weekends. Like if you're in another city, there's trains, there's planes,
right,
easy access. So yeah.
And once you're on that side of the world, there's so much over there that you can just hop to an island or a small country that you've never heard of. Like, where all did you go on those? Like, what did you see over there?
Well, I'd say the first place I went to that was actually out of China was Indonesia.
Awesome.
That's a pretty good first choice.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's pretty rad.
So started there. I went to Sumatra, then to Java, then of course Bali. And so I had like a month of time to travel. So I spent like 3 weeks in Bali, a couple days in Java, a couple days in Sumatra. And that was my first experience like outside of China. But there's so many cool places within China itself because it's massive.
Yeah.
I had lots of time to go around to different cities, Shanghai, Shenzhen. I did not get to go to Hong Kong, and no, I did not see the Great Wall, so don't kill me.
No, I wouldn't.
But
I mean, like you said, it's so big. There's so much to see that sometimes you don't see that stuff, you know?
It kind of goes to the back of your mind because you're like, okay, the Great Wall, I'll see it eventually, you know?
Yeah.
And they never do.
Right. And I mean, when you're in that culture, I'm sure you were meeting people that were like, "Ooh, you should go here," or I'm sure you were getting that like more insider recommendation of go check out this village or that mountain or whatever it was, as opposed to being like, go see all the stuff that everybody's seen.
Exactly. Because you're surrounded with people from all around the world that have maybe already had world traveling experiences that you haven't. And some of them are backpackers. Some of them like to do the luxury type of traveling. So you're going to get different recommendations and meet people from England, South Africa, just everywhere. So highly recommend traveling, period.
Yes. Beyond most anything, I will fully 100% back that all the time. Go, if you want to go see something, just get out and go see it. It opens your mind. It gets you immersed into other cultures. It makes you, I think it's one of the most fun is when you feel that uncomfortable in a place where you just have to get by on instincts if you don't know the language. And it's so fun to just feel like, oh shit, I have no idea how to get around, but I got to figure it out because I'm here. It's a great feeling. And I think it would make people from here, especially, appreciate people coming into our country who are very nervous because of reputation of us. I think you would have a way more empathetic view on people coming in if you had gone to another country and been feeling what they're feeling.
Definitely, because now you are the minority. Like no matter where you come from, you're going to be the minority in China. So it's definitely like an outer body experience of like, wow, I am such a small now.
Yeah.
And every day I got to figure out how to move around here and communicate the best I can. But that just made it more exciting.
So, do you speak any Chinese at all?
Probably just the bare minimum. So I'm talking about like how to say how are you and answer the phone to get my food ordered. But
Right.
yeah, nothing more than that.
Okay. So what age group were you teaching?
So they were, I would say, from kindergarten age all the way up to about to start middle school.
Oh, wow.
Nice range of age group.
Yeah.
And there was also a program called Baby Start. So you could teach actually like 1 year olds and 2 year olds at
Smart.
that placement. But I only had experience with that maybe 2 times. So yeah, large group, different ages, personalities.
Yes. All right, you have to have some funny stories from that time period. Let me hear some funny stories of these kiddos that you got to meet.
So imagine it's your first day. And I mean, look, I'm a Black woman. So this is probably going to be their first encounter seeing anybody that looks
Yeah.
like me. So, it's part of your job. You got to introduce yourself to them. So you get down to their level and you're like, hi, my name is Brittany. And then they're like, and all you can do is like, okay, you breathe. Like, it's all good.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be okay. Go through that. And then some of them are just like, no. It's like, cool. But you're going to like me by the end of this. So it's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah, we'll be friends. Oh, that's incredible. So my partner just got through getting her TEFL certificate. And so she's looking into the future of where do we go and all of that. And we've both traveled quite a bit. We've been very fortunate to be able to do that. And I just think it is so cool to be able to give young people the knowledge of English, which I know it's a very worldwide language, but like what a cool way to open the world to them. Like I wish I would have been given that gift of any other language where I grew up. It just wasn't taught to me. I wasn't told the importance of why you should learn Spanish because
Yeah.
so many people in this country speak Spanish and it would be very nice to know it, or just if you want to go to a Spanish speaking country. That wasn't relayed to me. So I just think it's so awesome the thought of going somewhere, teaching people English, especially kids, because they just soak it up, and then just like opening that part of the world because languages just unlock the world.
It does. And when you actually see them like obtaining it and using it and practicing it with their own friends, and then they can point to you and be like, yeah, this is my teacher. And it's just like, yes, I am your teacher. And they all have big plans. So it's not just going to be like something they did for fun. Most of them plan to leave China and either go to school out of the country to use that English further, or use it for networking when they get older in their careers. So it's something that's long term for most of these students. It's not just like us here where we learn, como estás, muy bien, and then
Right.
actually put it into practice. So it goes further.
Yeah, it is so true. I was just thinking, I was like, yeah, I took one semester of it in high school of Spanish, and I was like, I don't give a shit about this, whatever. But yeah, I think that's so cool that it's planning for the future. It's giving that open door to our language that most of us only speak only English, but then the rest of the world. I've been to so many places where I'll be speaking or someone will come up and speak their language to me and I just have to say, I'm really sorry. And then instantly they switch to English and I'm like, oh damn it.
Why do I have to be the lower life form?
Right. Did you learn any Spanish growing up in Florida?
No, probably just the basics of
Yeah.
school. And then I know I took French like in middle school.
Right. Yeah.
That was so basic. I don't remember anything past like un, deux, trois. So
Yeah.
again, where did that go? Nowhere really.
Yeah. So what part of Florida did you grow up in?
Orlando.
How was that?
Well, besides getting the typical, did you go to Disney World questions? And oh my God, you're so close to the beach. Which, yeah, I get it because I did do all that stuff. But most of the time it was like field trips type of thing. So school was cool. All the field trips, Universal Studios, Busch Gardens, Animal Kingdom, Wet and Wild, the Upside Down House. So that was great. But, if you don't have the money, you don't go.
Right.
So we're not at Disney World 24/7 with Mickey Mouse.
Right.
Some people like to think, and we're not chilling on the beach 7 days a week, but it was cool.
Yeah, that is too funny. When I have a couple friends that live there, and then I had a girlfriend that grew up there, and that was the same thing. She was just like, everybody is just like, oh yeah, so you're there all the time. I'm just like, no, I mean, I can't go there every day unless I worked there or something. But
Right?
yeah, it's just that living in a tourist dominated city has got to be, especially growing up there. Like, was it cool having that much influx of people? Did you get to meet more people that way, or were you kind of not in that area?
What I will say now that I'm in Michigan, which is something I realized when I moved here, I appreciate the amount of diversity Florida had.
Hmm.
You got people coming from all over the world, all over America coming in all the time, and then just a variety of people that were already there. So there's a huge Caribbean population, a huge culture from South America, Central America. And those were like my classmates. So you mix and mingle, you get to meet people and their culture. Like on school days, we'd have culture day. You get to bring a dish from your own country or your background. And I talk to people like my classmates here in Michigan. They're like, what's that? Like, we all eat the same thing.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's different,
Yeah.
different experiences. So
Yeah. I can understand that one. Like we talked about before we were rolling, that I grew up in Ohio, so it was very much like that as well. Just very, very similar. You brought up dishes from where you were from. What did you take for your dish from Jamaica?
I took a dessert called sweet potato pudding.
Ooh.
So describe it like it's like a solid form. It's made from sweet potatoes, like Jamaican sweet potatoes. And you mash it up, put a lot of good stuff in it that makes it sweet. I compare it to like maybe a thicker pumpkin pie
Okay.
consistency. And I like it.
It sounds fantastic. I actually made sweet potatoes tonight. I just roasted them, but I love sweet potatoes. So anything with adding more sweetness to them, I'd be in. I'd be in for that. So do you still have family in Jamaica, and do you get to go hang out with them?
So I would say probably majority of my family is still there.
Okay.
My birth mom, she's still there. Like my uncles, cousins. Basically, there's a few of us here in America, but for the most part, most of them are still there. And I haven't gone since I was like 16, and I'm 28 now. So
Okay.
I'm overdue.
Yeah.
But COVID, I was supposed to go this year, but
Damn it, COVID.
yeah, who wants to be in quarantine for 2 weeks when you're in a tropical island?
Right. Yeah. What part of Jamaica did you grow up, or were you born in?
Well, I was born in St. Anne's, but most of my family is in St. Mary.
Okay.
They're like right beside each other. So I guess you could say St. Mary because I was only born in the hospital.
Gotcha. So I know you were very young, but did when you came to the States, were there still traditions from Jamaica that you practiced when you were there?
My dad tried his best to maintain some things, like the meals that we'd eat at home for dinner, of course. But he even started to acclimate to American culture, even though he won't admit it. Definitely pick some things up. Like, he likes his steak and potatoes. And I'm like, that's not what you grew up on, but whatever.
Right.
But definitely immerse myself in the music. Still to this day, that's like my Sunday cleaning music.
Yeah.
Got to put on some reggae. But other than that, not really like in maybe the raising your child
Sure.
But yeah, I'm pretty American.
Yeah. So I've talked to a lot of people who have come here from island countries, and I don't know if you've had these conversations with your dad, because obviously you were super young, but I'm sure he came here because of the American dream, as a lot of people have done. But have you had conversations with him about how American dream as a pie in the sky, this is the best thing ever because America's the greatest place in the world, versus what really happened? Have you had those
Oh
conversations?
yeah, we have those conversations daily now, especially since I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Both talk about bills.
Right.
Because in Jamaica, he's like, the only bill I had to pay was like the electric. What is this rent and utilities and all this stuff? Like, it's draining my pockets. And I'm like, I never experienced that. Like, I've only known paying rent and utilities.
Yeah.
So we discussed that and try to help like our family understand that we're not rolling in money here.
Yeah.
Which is hard for some of them to believe, because they're just like, well, I mean, you're in America, you make more, obviously. And it's like, yeah, but we have to spend more too.
Right.
And so he still believes he made the right choice for bringing me here for the better life, education, all those great things. But we definitely are like, yeah, there's this imbalance where it's like, yeah, it's great, but there's all this stuff too. But he has plans of going back once he retires. I don't blame him.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
Yeah, it'd be a nice retirement plan. Head back to the
yeah,
islands and chill out.
yeah, he's like building a house right now, and it's coming together pretty well. It's going to be like this nice big house that overlooks all the land. So
Oh, amazing. That's so cool. And so when you were a kid, how were other kids with you? Were they accepting when you first came and everything? How was that in your childhood?
well, we all kind of were children of immigrants, so it kind of worked out well. So like all my friends were either Haitian, Puerto Rican, Dominican, from different countries. And there were some of us that still had accents, some of us that were born here, but our parents were from other countries. So it never felt like anyone was an outsider, because we all had a background of some sort, whether you were born here or born there. And even our teachers. So we had teachers that came from our backgrounds and reflected that in the classroom. So that was emerged into our lessons and the way we were taught. So it always felt safe. Like I never stopped to think like, oh, I'm the only Jamaican here. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Or it's like, wow, there's a lot of different people here. So maybe I don't fit. That never crossed my mind.
Oh, that's so good. I love that the teachers were integrating all of that into your schooling, because they were feeling the same way and wanting to put it back out into and keep it flowing with you kids. I think that's
Yeah,
amazing.
like we had a festival that celebrated all of our diversity in elementary school that I remember so vividly. And they brought in like a steel drum band and a buffet of food. And I'm like, this is awesome. But it's like what we grew up on, so we didn't think of it as any different.
Right.
It was great.
That's so cool. I love that. Um, so as you're studying now, what are you wanting to teach?
Oh, so I want to do elementary school, more specifically like fourth grade, fifth grade. I prefer that age group because they're at the point where you could hold deep conversations with them while they still have that youthfulness to them. And I've been a substitute before, so I've subbed from preschool all the way up to high school. So I took the time to figure out like which group do I really prefer. And I came to the conclusion it's elementary, but upper elementary. Nothing against lower elementary. You got to remind them to like wipe their nose and
Oh yeah,
their hands and
especially these days.
yeah, yes. So even virtually, like I've talked to some kindergarten teachers, they're like, yes, some of them will come on and their nose is running. And I'm like, oh,
Come on, kid.
at home.
Get it together, kid. Come on. Well, I think touching back on how you were speaking about Michigan and people kind of being very similar, I think is it part of the excitement for you to be able to bring something new to these kids as well with all of your travels and all your experiences and where you were born and everything?
Yes, and I've been told, like just through student assisting, like that's something I should bring forth and embrace and definitely display in my classroom because I have those experiences. And because, you know, the background of most people in Michigan, they haven't left their state, or if they have, it's just somewhere else in America.
Yeah.
I definitely plan to introduce my children to the idea and concept that there's a big world out there. And I want you to expand your mind and know that you can go and do whatever you want anywhere, whether you want to stay here in America and do it or go to another country and do it. Like I have friends in England that are like, you should be a teacher over here. They'd love you. And I'm like, I want to be here though.
Yeah. I think that's so important because like I've said a bunch of times already that where I grew up, I didn't have that. So I think that is so beautiful and necessary. And also when you were saying when they leave Michigan, they've probably only been to somewhere in the States. I was about to say to your state, to your hometown in Orlando. They've gone to where you came from. But I think it's such a beautiful way for you to put that into kids. Like I would have loved to have had that information of like, yo, hey, like I'm a teacher, but you know where I taught? I taught in China. Can you believe that? You can learn to be a teacher and you can do it a world away, somewhere you don't even probably know on a map yet. How cool is that?
And the concept of just getting out of your comfort zone, like leave your hometown at least once.
Right.
It's just for a short period of time just to see what's out there. Meet people that don't look like you. Get uncomfortable and be okay with that. And I've done that plenty of times now. I've gotten lost in some of these countries and I don't know how I found my way, but I made it home safely. But that's all part of it. And I think that helps you evolve as a human being, and it just connects you further because these people on the other side of the world, they love education. They love to be students. They love being taught, just like kids over here. And it's like we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Just go out there and meet people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, with traveling and with this podcast, like I get to talk to people from all over the place. And yes, we all have differences. We're all our own person. We have our own reactions to life in general and the way we perceive things, the way we're perceived in the world. But in general, we're all humans and we want to be seen. We want to be loved. We want to feel important to people. And it's like, that doesn't change if you go to China or if you go to England or if you go to Sweden or you go to Argentina. It's the same all over the world. And to be able to bring that to these kids who, yeah, probably haven't gone many places beyond Florida, because I know a lot of people from up north.
Yeah, they love to go down there.
They love Florida or like Myrtle Beach or Hilton Head, which isn't that far from Florida, really. Yeah, so I think that's so beautiful, and especially in the day and age that we live in, I think that's so important that you're going to be in there fighting that fight for those kids.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I'm hoping I could find the classroom of my own and get started.
Yeah. So what does that look like currently with COVID and everything? What have you, is it
Ooh.
more like virtual now or I know things are starting to open up. So yeah, what does
Mhm.
it look like?
Well, as of lately, I mean, there's more options for teachers. So there's some positions that can be virtual and some where you can be in the classroom. While I was student teaching, I had the experience of doing it in Zoom and the hybrid setting where you come only a couple days a week.
Hmm.
So I'm not quite sure if they're completely back in the classroom yet, or like if that will be the case come the fall. But I definitely do see like more opportunities. Like if you want to teach from home, now you can. Those are available to you, and I'm not putting that off the table.
Yeah.
So I
How,
see like more freedom for teachers. Like you want to be at home or you want to be in the classroom, up to you.
yeah, or a mix of both.
Yeah.
Um, how was it teaching online? I can only imagine with all the just brains going 5,000 different ways. It had to be interesting.
Oh my goodness. So well, think of like how people feel about Mondays and multiply that by 10. Imagine it's a Monday and every single last kid has like the blanket over their head. Their cameras either on or off. They do not want to talk. And you're just like, all right, it's a Monday. It's definitely a Monday.
Yeah.
Then, Tuesday comes along and they're starting to get the feel of it. It's like, why can't we do Mondays?
I That's such a brilliant way to put it. I've not heard it said that way by anyone that I know that's taught online, but now I'm like, yeah, that is
Yeah.
a very perfect way. Monday times 10. Yeah, that
Because
makes
they
total
don't have
sense.
the control of their emotions. They're not going to be like, all right, let me put my feelings aside because I need to get my education.
Here I go to school today. I'm gonna look at my computer for 5 hours.
Yeah,
Sure.
just graduate.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can put your answer in the chat box if you want. No? Okay.
Oh man, that's amazing. I feel like since we all had to adapt, everyone in the whole world had to adapt to what happened. But that has to be, especially for newer teachers, quite a good learning curve, though, of what's possible and different ways to keep things interesting, right? At least.
Yeah, because you really have no choice. I mean, if you want to bore them more than you're already doing, then by all means, just talk them to death and not show them any interaction other than you and your camera.
Right.
Being on Zoom, you found like all types of websites to use. Like shout out to Nearpod. I use Nearpod so much where you can create lessons to be interactive and they can go right along with you, clicking and putting their answers in, watching videos, taking quizzes, playing games. And it really just pushes you to be like, okay, what can I do to still make sure they get what they need while keeping their attention? Because who wants to be in front of their computer for 3 hours and just do the same thing over and over? So as a teacher, you're just forced to be like, all right, what am I going to do today? How can I get their attention? How can I still teach them what they need to do? And just do your best. And of course, sometimes you got to wing it if the website doesn't load.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I needed you. Why are you
Come on, man. We're fully relying on technology right now. Can't let me down. Oh man. All right. I wanted to ask you about Be Enriched. Can you tell
Mm.
me about that?
So, since I am a teacher planning to finally get a position, we all know teachers do not get paid that great. So I
Which is
think
ridiculous.
about it, yeah, ahead of time, and I'm like, I'm probably going to need to get like a side job or something to support my income. And every teacher I've spoken to is like, yeah, I do this or I do that. Like my mentor, he is a coach for a swim team.
Mhm.
Another teacher, she has two jobs. One she'll do at night, when when she's not teaching. So I'm like, what can I do? And I realized I do love self-care, and who doesn't like soft skin?
Right.
And I was using a lot of products at the time while still going to class full time. Like, can you imagine taking 18 credits during the summer?
No.
No, yeah. And that was like my outlet to just have some me time. And so I was doing it so much, and I was starting to really think about it. I'm like, I wonder what it'd be like if I made my own. And I was comparing that to other products I was using and taking what I liked from it, where I think could be improved, and created my own. And so it's basically a body scrub in a solid form, and it smells great. Your skin is going to be soft, and it has good stuff in it: shea butter, cocoa butter, grapeseed oil. So you can only imagine the benefits it has for your skin. I've had testimonials in person. Everyone loved it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone this far.
Right.
Be a business for it, but it's just beginning. I could say I'm like 2 weeks in after launch, so it's still very fresh, but I'm loving it so far.
That's so cool. How did you know how to do that? Or did you just learn as you went?
I literally learned as I went. So as I was looking at ingredients on the back of the products that I was using, more specifically, Lush gave me the inspiration. So if you know that company, they make lots of body products and other things as well. I was using a lot of their stuff, and I'd read their ingredients. I'm like, that seems pretty accessible. Like, I could buy that stuff online. And so I experimented a little bit and also tried to add some things that I like. And I could tell you there's one time I'm like, I like turmeric, so I want to add turmeric to it. And I added too much. So imagine my whole shower is yellow. I'm yellow. My towels are yellow.
Oh yeah. It's tough to get turmeric. That's so funny. The second you said turmeric, I just pictured a very yellow atmosphere around you.
So it was a lot of trial and error and figuring out what worked for me. And then, I had my friends test it. I'm like, here, try this. I promise you're not going to be yellow. I took it out.
Yeah.
So let me know what you think. And everyone had my full support, and they're like, go for it.
That's so awesome. I mean, I want to throw one thing in there that I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that you have to start off. Well, as you know, I'll be a teacher, so I have to get a second job or I have to do something else. I think that is so absurd. You're teaching the next generation of kids who will grow up to be some of the richest people, some people, like, you're teaching them all the skills. Like, you're giving them the world, yet you're barely scraping by, which is absurd. My mom was a middle school teacher for 30, probably 37 years, I think, by the time she retired. And yeah, I mean, she was at a Christian school, so she was making even less. So it's just absurd to think that teachers who are equipping these kids for the future have to go out and do all these other parts of life to even just function. And like we talked about with the American dream, comes with a very big price tag, and a lot of times you're not getting taken care of, especially as a teacher. But I think that's really cool that you learned to do that. I think that's really amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I saw this post the other day that said, when I was in college and bartending, I made more than as a teacher with a master's degree. And I'm like, oh my God, mind blowing.
Yeah.
But until we get there, I don't know. I'm gonna still pursue my dream of being a teacher because I love it. But pay the bills if you're listening.
Right. Sadly, yes. That is so true. All right. I want to touch on your superpower that you put in for your answer. What would your superpower be?
The power to have teleportation. And I think especially in this day and age, we can all agree that we could use some time to get away. We've been in the house for like a year and a half for some of us, and you just want to get away. Wherever that getaway might be, even if it's like just going to your friend's house, snap your fingers, you're there.
Boom.
Go to the beach, you're there. That fancy hotel you had dreams of being in with the nice view, you could be there and not pay.
Yeah. Squatters' rights.
Right. So I think it just comes with having peace of mind and just taking that time to yourself again before we get catapulted back into whatever the new normal will be.
Yeah. Yeah, I already see it speeding back up, and I'm just like, I hope people took this time. And yes, there were so many negatives and there were so many hard things and just terrible, terrible things that have happened to so many people in the world. But silver linings, I hope that people truly enjoyed the time, because think of how many times we've all said, I just wish time would slow down. I wish I could put a pause on life. So I'm hoping as things are starting to move forward that people have at least taken the time to learn some stuff about themselves, learn new skills like you did. Take that
Yeah.
time that we've all said it before, whether we truly meant it or not, or really wanted it. We've all said it. So I'm hoping that people actually took that time to do some self-care, some self-love, and enjoy it as much as possible.
And follow your dreams. Like if you had a dream during that time, maybe take the steps to do it now.
Yeah.
Lots of time to think about it so you can make it happen.
Yeah, all those times where you're like, I just don't have time to do it. It's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
what's your excuse now? Because if you don't do it now, you'll not do it. You're not going to do it.
That's right.
All right. So I asked this question, and I'm kind of going to make it a funny way. Is since teleportation is not on the table, but COVID restrictions aside, and if I came to you and I said, Brittany, I have a plane ticket to anywhere in the whole world with your name on it, where would you fly to?
Mm. I honestly would go to Jamaica. I've been putting it off for too long, and I know my mom wants to see me, and it was
Yeah.
amazing to actually spend time with her and my cousins as an adult. So all
Yeah.
fun times we could have now. So yeah, I'd definitely go to Jamaica.
That's cool. Have you seen your mom since that time you were down there when you were 16? Has she come to visit here?
She's been working on her visa for a while now, but it just
Oh,
never
wow.
pan out.
Okay. Yeah. So you're well overdue to see your mom.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. I like that answer. That's a good answer. All right. I have two more questions for you. First one is, what would you want the world to know about you?
I would want the world to know that I am a dreamer, but also a doer. And I think if we have dreams, we should try to make them happen. And the only thing that's preventing that is ourselves. So if you are a dreamer too, you could also be a doer. They don't have to be two separate things, they could coexist.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think that should be more people's mantras of getting out there and just being a doer. Like, yeah, we all dream. Everybody does. We all want something different, but it's really amazing when you can actually get out there and just go for it. Like, I bet you were scared to death to go to China.
Yeah, and
That laugh alone.
yeah, like I got lost in Cambodia. Like I had my driver waiting for me, and I walked into a temple, and I came out the wrong exit, and I couldn't find him for like 2 hours.
Oh no.
So yeah, definitely had lots of panic moments, but that's part of it. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you learn so much about yourself when you just let yourself go and have those moments, even if it's not with travel, if it's just learning a new skill set like you did, or yeah, trying to learn an instrument or whatever it may be. It's just, life is really short. So you should just go do those things that you want to do and take the time and enjoy it while you're here. I get so sad when I hear people, and I'm thinking back, and you said this about your dad that he's moving back to Jamaica when he retires. So I'm not including him in it, but I get sad when people are like, "Oh, I'm going to start traveling when I retire," and I'm like, that is a long ass time from now. Like, and think of the energy that you've already used in your life. And by the time you're
Mhm.
65, and who knows what the retirement age by the time we get there will be. It'll probably be 80 by that time. And it's like, what the hell? Like, why are you gonna wait until you're that old and that tired in life? And you're not gonna get to all those places. Like, do it now, come back. We live in a greedy society. Yes,
Mhm.
a lot of places don't make enough money to to pay it just by doing the job, but you can always come back. You can always find something to do to start making money again. I mean, even a pandemic doesn't really keep them from. I mean, how many times did they say we need to get our economy started? It's like, yeah, but people around the world are constantly dying, and
Mhm.
you're worrying about the economy? Come on.
You won't have anybody to keep it running if you do that.
Yeah. So I'm always a big proponent of get out there, go see what you want to see. Do it now. Why not? Why wait?
And also, do you really want to be 80 years old climbing up that mountain?
Right.
I've seen it so many times, and I'm just like, what are you doing out here? Like, I'm glad you're doing it, but
Right.
you need so much more assistance. Like,
Yeah.
do it while you're young, while
Right.
you still have, your joints are able to flex and move, and you could tolerate the time changes and
Yeah.
whatever else. You do
Yeah.
not want to be old out here on a boat that's doing this up and down. Somebody has to assist you on and off.
Yeah. No thanks. I'd rather just do it and then come back. And I mean, when I went to one semester of college, and there was one class, I don't remember what it was, but there was a man, and I would imagine he was probably closer to 70 years old. And he was in the class, just taking classes at school. And I was like, and that's awesome. It just shows like you can always go back. There's no age limit on college. Like, just go back and learn if you want to learn. If you want to go back at 40, who cares? Go back, go
And
experience
that's
the
another
world.
thing. Like, I'm almost 30, and we all got this, oh, my career, oh, my family relationships. And if you don't have it by 30, it's not the end of the world.
No, I don't have that by 36, and I'm still feeling all right.
Yeah, nobody's going to be like, oh, your life is over.
Right.
Do it when you want to. Do it now, do it later, but just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you've had this big job and all made all this money, and then you haven't lived, or that's all you've done to live, and you pass away, which is tragic, but you don't take your job title, you don't take your money with you when you go. So it's like, why just live your life to work and be that person? Like, go see the world, go see those smiling faces in China and teach them something to better them, better the world. So like, I'm fully for that.
Yeah.
And while we were talking about traveling again, what was the most surprising place you went to in your travels?
Hmm. I'm going to have to say Sumatra.
Okay.
What surprised me was I don't really hear that many people talk about it. I mean, I could be wrong. There could be a whole community out there that's like, we love Sumatra.
Sure.
Beforehand, it didn't really pop up on anybody's radar. And the way I came across it was like, planning the trip to Indonesia, and I saw it was there. I mean, it's pretty big. And I'm like, I wonder what's there. And I found an experience where you get to meet orangutans in person in their natural habitat
Whoa.
in a tree house near this natural reserve where they have them, and take that hike to meet them all. And yeah, we didn't have electricity 24 hours, but you didn't need it at night. You had no Wi-Fi, but what's the point of being in a tree house? Of course, you're going to be disconnected.
Right.
Because it was for the experience. And I swear to God, that was probably one of my best memories.
That's so cool. I would love to meet some orangutans. That sounds amazing. Now I want to go there. I'm adding that to my list of places that I need to see in the world.
Yeah, I think, especially with animals that are on the endangered species list, get out and see them while we still have them outside
Yeah.
of the zoo if you can.
Yeah, especially outside of a zoo. I have such mixed feelings about zoos.
Me too.
They make me so sad. I'm thankful that they're taking care of the animals. But I went to one in Boise last summer, and they had these African dogs, and they were the coolest looking dogs I've ever seen. I mean, just like kind of like I think it was Scar from The Lion King, just like these like badass looking dogs. And they were just in this cage. I mean, it was big so they could run around, but I was like, you need to be savages just out in the
Yes.
out in the world in your habitat, just running however much you run a day. And I was just like, oh, I don't know. I get sad when I go to them. Even though it is cool to see the animals, but I was like, I got bummed out.
That tends to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Last question for you. If you had the ear of everybody in the world, what would you say to them?
The ear of everybody in the world. I would say, don't take your life too seriously.
Yeah.
Do not take it that seriously. It's going to change. There's going to be things that piss you off. There's going to be experiences that you might wish you never had to go through, but do not take it that seriously. Don't take it personal either. I know a lot of us would like to internalize things that happen to us and blame ourselves for it, or think it's all our fault, or it's our life, and so therefore we're responsible for it. It's like, don't take it so seriously. Just flow with it to the best of your ability. Acclimate, change, do not resist, and just keep going.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's such a beautiful sentiment to end on. So good. And I thank you so much for coming and hanging with me tonight. This has been such a fun conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I just, even though we're at a computer, I feel such good vibes coming from you.
I appreciate my time here. And just so you know, this was my first podcast.
What?
So, yeah.
Well, that's amazing. How did you feel?
I felt amazing. Like, you made it a wonderful experience. Like I was just having a conversation with a friend. So cool. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, that's the highest compliment I can get while having this conversation with you. So thank you for that. That's so awesome.
You're definitely welcome. So I'm glad, you spoke to me, and I look forward to seeing you in the future and watching some of your podcasts.
Yeah, I appreciate the support in that. And maybe one day when we're able to roam around the world again, I'll be in your area, or if you come down to Nashville, we could meet up. That'd be rad.
That'll be great.
Make a real life friend from a virtual friend.
I know, that would be epic.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. All right. Well, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your night. Thank you for listening to the Beautifully Human podcast. To hear more beautiful stories from beautiful humans, follow us on Spotify and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at the Beautifully Human Podcast. Peace signs up.